Welcome to the last panel of the day. Before we start with the first presenter, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the organizer of this conference, and in particular Christian Schaffer and Uncle Bob for looking after us and for making this panel possible here. I also would like to give you a bit of a background information about this panel. The Center for Khmer Study, which I run based in Cambodia, has launched a new regional program focused on conflict in the ASEAN country. Last year, with funding from the Ford Foundation as well as the Roos Foundation, we had a group of 14 people coming together from the region to study different types of political conflict in Thailand, Cambodia, Laos, Burma, and Vietnam. And there's 4 people here who are part of this panel participated in this program. So we're really pleased that following this 2 intensive weeks, we now have papers and presenters to attend this conference. So the first person to speak is Udom An from Cambodia, and his presentation will focus on discourse analysis of hydropower and anti-dam movements in Cambodia. Thank you.
So, good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for coming and giving me the opportunity. Krishna already thanks to Abisa, and I also thank Krishna for making it possible to come here. I would like to bring up some of the specific case of hydropower dam issue in Cambodia. So, first of all, I would like to very briefly introduce some sort of hydropower that are mirror. So as you see in the picture, it is called Runoff River Dam, and it is a Sayaburi Dam, a Mekong mainstream dam as well. And maybe you can see some sort of fish that find it difficult to swim up and down. This is one of the problems of the dam, and not including the resettlement of the people resettlement. Well, it doesn't require big reservoir like the storage dam, but we cannot say they are less harmful than compared to the storage dam if it is built in a critical ecological area. For here, you can see the storage dam. So it requires to keep or to store water for a long time, and it can fill to the energy peak demand. So this is basically the Nam Tin 2 dam. And it becomes increasingly considered as trade-off development, sort of trade-off development. And developers keep, raising or promoting the idea of, societal benefit, it creates jobs, improve infrastructure, and modernize livelihood, industrial economy, briefly. But there are also costs on there are also social costs like displacement of the people. You need to compensate people lost, and it is very problematic. There is no mature standard of the resettlement policy, especially in the Mekong region. And you say you're creating jobs, but you also stop people access to natural resources. But yeah, that's business jobs. They cannot sell things, but they don't need to buy. For example, they can catch fish. They don't need to buy fish, basically. Although it's not justified, some kind of economic assumption. There are also other issue of the ecological consequence. If you block dam, you can imagine, the shortage of the water flows downstream, and downstream people need water to do agriculture, and fish also need water. And sometimes we need just enough water, not too much water. In case of Cambodia, the Yali Dam in Vietnam built in the 1990s and used to have, and then it broke, and it flooded downstream in Cambodia. And we question a lot the role of MRC and also the dam developer, but the bilateral negotiation seems to fail to solve all this problem for the local community who are affected. And actually, the big international bank like international financial institution like World Bank, ADB keep saying that it's the clean energy compared to coal-fired power plant, but it doesn't mean that it's clean because it produces the greenhouse gases, which is also a harmful gases that contribute to the global climate change. Well, okay. Why Cambodia built dam? And Cambodia government think that because we cannot rely on the energy export from the other country like Vietnam and Thailand, and so we have to build our own source of power like hydropower. So we put in our national strategic development plan, one of the energy sources hydropower. And we understand that our National Mekong Committee point out that we have potential to produce the electricity of up to 10,000 megawatt. And this much is not only to waive the demand, the domestic demand, but also they have to be ambitious to sell it as well. So we have a lot of river in Cambodia. We have the Mekong River, and then we have 3 tributaries in the northeast of Cambodia, Sesan, Traipok, and Sekong, very rich. So in Mekong mainstream alone in Cambodia, the committee say that we have the potential of building hydropower dam of up to 50%, and the other 40% would be on the tributary of the Mekong. And the other 10 is not connected to the Mekong mainstream, but it, more western of the Cambodian part. And to date, we exploit those potential of the 10% of hydropower dam. So we have, 4 operated, 4 dam in operation that we somehow can fill the demand. And also, we have already built 2 big dams, up to 100 or 200 megawatt. But we are still having issue with, finding the donor in order to invest in the transmission line. It also is very expensive. It's like 1 kilometer. It costs like $1 million US. So it is not very quickly like after you build, you can make use of the electricity, but you need to think about the transmission line. And we also plan for some hydropower dam. All these dams are western part of Cambodia. And recently we also have, this is also planned dam. The Sambo dam is on the Mekong as well, they planned, but we don't have enough information about that dam. Also we have, we have Stentrai and Sambo. And we have Lower Sesan 2 dam, which is 400 megawatt, is being built. I think it's reaching halfway construction, and a lot of up to 5,000 family, 5,000 people are being displaced to make way for this dam, and more than half of them now refuse to resettle, and it is very questionable and very problematic here. And the government plan for Lower Sesan 3, Traipok 3, 4. And we also have other dams, but we don't have information from that. It's not easy to get information from the government. And this is some sort of map. And please, now we're looking at the Mekong mainstream dam. Up in China, we have almost 10 dams already built and operational. And now we have some sort of cascade dam or 11 dam in the Greater Mekong sub-region from Laos, and Cambodia also plans dam, and only Vietnam they don't plan for any dam. We haven't heard of it. Maybe they will its tributary, we don't know. So far we have the Sayaburi, which is being built, and we have the Don Thong is being built as well. So Laos basically plan to build 9 dams, and Cambodia want to build 2 dams. And civil society question the role of the Mekong River Commission a lot, in terms of the idea of sustainable development, but more and more dam is going ahead, like the fail of the consultation of Sayaburi and repeat in the Don Sahong Dam. Maybe in the future Cambodia also will some more instant right. Okay, now I'm going to be more specific in Cambodia case. And even the Cambodian National Mekong Committee suggests that we have up to 10,000 megawatt hydropower dam potential, but some sort of NGO and independent expert, they say that Cambodia is very flat, very good for agriculture. During rainy season, you can see almost water going all over the country, like Tonle Sap. It extends very large, very huge. And if you build dam, you need to block river and then the reservoir. For example, we look at the reservoir of the Lower Sesan 2 that produce only 400 megawatt, but it requires 335 kilometers square. Now look at China. They can produce up, 1,550 megawatt, but they only require 23 kilometers square of reservoir. Very deep. And we also, worried about the uncertain and not transparent Chinese wet dam compensation policy. It's very flexible. Look at the Nusa Dua Dam. Per person, they have the policy to provide 30,000 US dollar. But in Lower Sesan 2 Dam, they provide only 6,990 US dollar per person. So it's flexible. It's based on the host country as well. Experience from the neighboring country, have tell us a lot about the problem of hydropower, but it seems like the Cambodian government, perhaps it's because the good and strong relation between Cambodian and the People's Republic of China that make everything easy for them to build that sort of harmful dam. And this is I quote from, I have worked with her a lot. This lady is from one of the affected community, and she say now she is being intimidated, convinced, cheated to leave her community. But the past experience, for example, like she and her community used to be cheated and fall promised by the former governor of that province, saying that if you resettle basically for the dam, you will get the land of 50 meter plus 100 meter. But now, when he left, he changed position to the other, and the other governor come and say, no, you cannot get that much. You can get only 20 meter plus 50. So this promise is not, make them feel, afraid that they won't get anything, or they have to learn, of course, from some of the civil society organizations that come to the area and conduct some sort of training, awareness raising. They have told them about what happened in Bak Moon Dam in Thailand, what happened in Nam Tin Tu Dam. So they also have some sort of knowledge about what is dam as well. And, and they very attached to the area. For example, they can compensate house, they can compensate tree, but how about some sort of spiritual forest, their graveyard, and now they're trying to give price to those things, but it's very impossible. So now, because this lady and some other community that make up of more than half of the population need to be resettled, continue refusing, the authorities set the deadline, 30 May this month, fortunately. If you continue not to have your asset method, we don't guarantee that you will be compensated. Meaning to say, flat that. And yeah, we question the role of the, I forgot to mention, they say this hydropower dam project is the national development, the national interest. So people who are affected need to sacrifice to make way for the national interest. But where is the common interest or the interest of all? If we build a specific development project, we need to make sure everybody benefit from it. Not, people who are suffering and people who are benefiting. And, well, I'm trying to bring up some sort of concept that I have heard today and from my colleagues. Well, national interest, as I mentioned, government can say not only hydropower, the other economic land concession, rubber plantation, sugar, say, look, this is the national interest, we need to grow. So, the same model, people resettle, company grab the land, and there is no common space for everyone, like the affected community, the civil society, the scientists who are experts in the area to sit down and talk, and everybody can take away the recommendation. There is no such space. And if there is no common space, there is no common interest. And, well, so you develop for who? It's just self-interest, basically. Government think it is very good opportunity to build dam. The civil society say, well, maybe it's not sustainable. And even among the organization, among the civil society, they don't have a mutual voice. Some say maybe it's good for the country. Some say no, it's very bad. They have different ideas. But however, there are some kind of right-based organization. They're trying to influence, to lobby the related ministry, like Ministry of Environment, to come up with the environmental law. Because in Cambodia, we're only using now the sub-degree, but it's not very strong enough, and the practice even worse. So we're trying to influence to have an environmental law that could include especially the prior informed consent, coming from the UN Declaration of Indigenous People, for example. People need to be asked, do you want this or not? If this is become a law, maybe we have better hope. But now they are quoting that law. Well, so yeah, community, as you know, they have very limited knowledge about anything. So some might say yes, some may say not. Some may we just go with the flow. If the majority go, they will go. The situation is not good. And the scientists are not properly included. In Cambodia they produce a lot of scientific research, especially for the lower, say, Santu down the low number of it. But how to make use of it? Well, they just ignore. They don't use it. Well, another interesting case in Arai Valley, western part of Cambodia, hydropower is only 100 megawatt small. So the government just, uses threat people like, okay, you think that these people, they have different movement. They block the road. They block Chinese people not to come to conduct any study because they are not sure about it. Even environmental assessment, they have no idea. And it's not transparent and accountable, so they block the road and it's effective. The Prime Minister used to threaten, he want to rocket the area, and they think that these people want to create an autonomous area. This is the reason behind. However, later he said, okay, it seems like, it's almost the election, the official election that happened in 2013. So the opposite party get a lot of popularity from this case like this. People feel, the government want to, suppress people in order to serve their own interest. So the Prime Minister stepped back a little bit back and say, okay, now we don't build it until 2018. It compared to lower say Santu, where people are very quiet, so nothing happened. So they keep on building. So maybe they want more to test the government like this. Well, this is just a brief idea of Ian Bird, who is, saying some sort of idea like this kind of development like that. Different people can take away benefit, but we have to be carefully looking critically the people who are affected by their project. Make sure their voice are heard. If they oppose the dam, we have to consider their voice. We have to learn from them. I'm trying to looking at the broader concept of the ADB. So they say, sustainable development means the possibility to be a long-run achievement of a community threat on financial, political, ecology issue. But ecology part is very questionable. And look at Nam Tin 2 and Bhumibol Dam. They're only looking at the financial part. You know, if the expectation of the gain of the revenue is you know, compatible, it is a sustainable one. But how about the expand on the environment, ecology? You know, they don't take into consideration. When the World Commission on Dam in 2000, they came up with their own research. They're very well aware of the World Bank and the ADB, especially the work on Bac Mun Dam. So they say, you know, it is not sustainable development, the dam, because they don't have enough commitment to study the complex of the ecology and in the environment. This is make it not sustainable. And well, look at the World Bank. The recent president, you know, he also kind of it's called like the World Bank return to back up the dam. So he is questioned by one of the audience, like about the mother of the Beta Catherine in Honduras Dam. She got murdered recently because she against the hydropower dam. So, well, he said like, well, they have the commitment, the bank have the commitment to hear the voice, but what after hearing the voice? And so they say what the bank want to do is they make sure after visitor people will get better. But look at Bac Mun community. Until today, what happened? There is still a view like this. 25 years after the World Bank loan problem remained. You know. So well, we need a reliable mechanism, a remedy, resolution, or whatever. And how long does it take for a community like the Lower ASEAN, for example, if it is a World Bank, see affected like this, being, you know, suppressed to resettle to live a house. How long does it take a voice to, you know, wherever the president is?
Time to complete.
Yeah, okay. So, yeah, this is another speech of him. He said, you know, interesting thing like if they won't step back. If they step back, means that they also violate the human right of those who need to be developed. So, and people like activists or NGO might feel comfortable for your political idea about the rights of people in land, but these people are not going to have job because there is no electricity. And so they say, okay, if our project is, the dam project is really, really bad, tell them, and then we'll improve and fix them. Well, how can we fix? People already dead, like the lady in the previous slide, already dead. How can we fix it? Well, I would like to end this slide.
Thank you very much, Udon. The next paper will be presented by Jularat Darongin from the Berghoff Foundation based in Bangkok. And the paper is entitled The Concept of Common Space as a Tool for Conflict Transformation and Human Security in the Deep South of Thailand.
Good afternoon, everyone. First of all, I would like to thank you, CKS, the Center for Command Study, for giving me an opportunity to present the paper here. And today, I would like to present my paper on the common space as a tool for conflict transformation in the deep south of Thailand, or Patani. My paper is want to argue that the common space concept can be applied in the three southernmost provinces of Thailand. And I would like to start from the overview of the peace process and the situation in the deep south of Thailand. And then we'll introduce you the basic idea of the common space, and which is one of the support structure of the peace processes. Then I will explore how common space has been successfully applied in other cases. Because of time limited, I will only focusing on the Sri Lanka case. And after that, I will try to analyze how common space will be applied in the south and what are the challenges and difficulties. So this is the map of the southern Thailand. So the deep south, the persisting conflict in the deep south Thailand is centered on three southern provinces of Pattani, Yala, and Narathiwat, near the Malaysian borders, and 4 districts in Songkhla province. The region commonly referred to as the Deep South. About 75 to 80% of population of 2 million people are Muslim or Malay Muslim who speak Malay and adhere to their unique identity, Patani Malay identity. The area has been a battle zone amid resurgent violence between the militant Muslim and the Thai government since 2004. This is the violence data. Already 12 years of conflict in the south. Since January 2004 up to now, March 2016, there are more than 15,000 incidents and more than 18,000 people were killed, and then more than 12,000 were injured. So this is the statistic from the Deep South Watch website. So now I jump to the peace talk and the peace process in Deep South. The formal peace talk has initiated in 2013 under the Yingluck government with the representative of Barisan Revolusi Nasional Melayu Patani, or we call BRM. The main insurgent group and facilitated by Malaysia. After 3 plenary meetings in KL, the process was collapsed by incompetence of both parties and also the Bangkok crisis, the political crisis. For the militants, these include a lack of capacity within the political wing and internal discord on the merit of the talks. The Thai side also lacks of experience in negotiation of this kind, and its internal division and arguably deeper than those on the militant side. Although the first process had failed, it changed conflict dynamics a lot in the region. The movement has been acknowledged by more by the government, CSO, and people on the ground. The government had committed to have a dialogue, and CSO became a driver of peace process which affected to the next military government. So after the coup, the NCPO, or the National Council of Peace and Order, ruled the country through the coup d'etat since May 2014, like Ajahn Paul presented. This is led by General Prayut Chan-o-cha. So with respect to the situation in the south, the Prime Minister asked the media to refrain from describing the insurgents as a movement because of he said the violence is a work of the individuals, so it's not a movement. In the army's view, it is not appropriate to speak of seeking peace. So in mid-2014, the government began to describe its goal for the Deep South as Santisuk, or the happiness talk. You never heard this term, but this happened in this country, which convey the notion of happiness, well-being, and tranquility. So in the meanwhile, the government issues the Prime Ministerial Order 230/2014 in November to set up a mechanism to drive the dialogue process. It comprises the committee at 3 levels: policy level, led by the Prime Minister; implementation level, or we call the peace dialogue panel, is the level number 2, headed by General Aksara Kertpon. At this level also has a secretariat office supporting the formal meeting. Okay, and the 3rd level is the operational level through the area-based interagency coordination working group. So on the movement side, the representative of the 6 militants group, as you see the list of the name on the slide, established the Majalah Surya Patani, or Patani Consultative Council, or we call Mara Patani, as an umbrella organization. In their document, it mentioned that this organization is for Patani liberation movements seeking a just, a comprehensive and sustainable solution for Patani. However, currently it is still an open question that whether BRN accept Mara Patani as a representative organization negotiating with the Thai state or not. Therefore, there were several reactions come after that. So the 3 non-official meetings between the Thai dialogue team and Mara Patani, or a contract 1 process, has taken place about 4 times already in Malaysia. And the Thai state team proposed to concentrate first on the 3 issues. The safety zone, it means the territorial limited truths in the region, some economic measures, and case-by-case regulations with respect to justice. But on the movement side, they also request 3 preconditions. The first one is recognize Mara Patani. The second one, and endorse, parliamentarily endorsed affirmation that the settlement of conflict in the South as a national agenda. And the third one, that have some kind of immunity and safety with respect to the person who participated in the talks. So both parties also set up a technical team as a sub-team, discussing various issues before they would be negotiated at the official level. And recently, the key issue of discussion in the technical team is about terms of reference of the talks that have non-official met 3 times. Although more than 95% of the TOR was agreed upon, but they are still struggling with the remaining parts. Moreover, the dynamics on the Thai side is also make the situation is getting worse when the head of the secretariat team, who is also the head of the technical team, was dismissed. And last week, the Prime Minister just stated in the media that this government would like to resume talks because of the leftover from the last government. So it means that this government doesn't want to have a talks at all. So the peace process in the South has got stuck again. But track 1 process has, but on the other side, the track 1 process also motivated track 2 and track 3. Track 2 and track 3, in my definition, this means CSO, academic, and people on the ground is track 3. I borrow these tracks come from the Radical concept. To be more, they are more curious about the peace process. So in the region, they have organized more than 100 forum capacity building workshop about knowledge of peace processes, lessons learned from the peace process around the world, and then several exposure tips to study experience of the process in the nearby countries. Aside from the CSO activity, the donors, the adaptation of donors indicated that the atmosphere gradually conducive to issue of the peace and the peace process. Among those activities, there are also attempts to some groups of CSO and academic to try to build the bridge between track 1 and track 2 and 3. So the idea of common space come up. So what is the common space then? The common space is an effort to build common understanding and develop consensus through knowledge-based dialogue, creation of shared knowledge, and the evolving of permanent safe spaces for engaging with parties, stakeholders, and those affected by violence. Why and when will common space be created? The first one is in the absence of the formal dialogue and negotiation. The second one is when the formal talks and process broke down or weak. Third one, as a support structure and safety net to formal and constitutional change process, national dialogue, or countries in transition. So, being at a safe space during periods of conflict, system failure, or political instability. This is when and why the common space had been created. But it is necessary to take into account that there are different design remarkably depends on social, political, and conflict context. The common space, therefore, is applied in various ways and with different names. Importantly, common space has been employed for the multi-purpose. So this is the purpose of the common space that has been employed in many cases. But I would like to raise only one case of Sri Lanka. Like many people here know about the peace process in Sri Lanka has failed. But at the same time, so those in Sri Lanka process had failed. But is it another very interesting example of the common space in Sri Lanka? It has started the design and development of common space in 2003 as an independent project titled One Text Initiative, or OTI, led by researchers and civil society representatives called insiders. When the political space in Sri Lanka failed to dead end, they have tried hard not to be in the same situation. So they have engaged people in different levels, national, provincial, and district. However, the main works are exploring the consensus for political resolutions, resolution to ethnic conflict and violence monitoring. So the common space in Sri Lanka is initiated, driven, and operated by the country's own political stakeholders who take ownership of space also. It took more than a year to build a sustainable space, nurture the process of the political dialoguing that won the trust of stakeholders. This is also because of the space processes are professionally managed with research and capacity building among stakeholders who are tasked with the exchange, management, and dissemination of knowledge. They also provide public policy input in the Parliament and Cabinet. It has facilitated more than 120 joint understanding over the past 13 years and survived 7 governments and a brutal civil war. Currently, it is only established space for permanent multi-stakeholder dialogue processes managed and fully owned by the stakeholders themselves. So this is the diagram to explain that how the common space or the One Tech initiative in Sri Lanka look like. So you can see on the top is a stakeholder, and then this is some kind like a structure of the common space in Sri Lanka. Now back to the South Thailand before now running on the time. So in the case of Southern Thailand, as I mentioned before, that the concept of common space was presented based on the assumption that track 2 and 3 can have important role to support the current peace talk and peace process. The question is how CSO have meaningful contribution to the peace talks. It's raised by many people. At the beginning, the concept of the common space